Hello my dear gardeners, look at this. There's so much color in the garden. We're going to disturb all our birdies in their houses, but I want to give you a tour of the garden, the weekend garden walk, and see what's blooming. And there are plenty of projects in the middle of it, so excuse the mess. And we are beginning our tour with wonderful Azalea. Look at this color. By the way, we had such a strong, good, fast rain last night. Everything is refreshed. Birds are loving it. And look at this azalea. Isn't it a gorgeous thing? When you move it, oh, it's full of rain. Whew, heavy, right? And we used to move our feeder right here on this. I need to take it out, that stick. And look what damage it did here. You see, azalea didn't like it. All the birds were probably jumping here. The food was dripping, so we have a bald spot here. So we took that feeder out. So this azalea, this is one bush, for you to know. When we moved into this house, there were two bushes. One died and one just took over. And looks like every year it's getting bigger and bigger. Now it's almost closing up here. You see, oh, and look at that. And it fell down there even on my hostas. Well, good, because look what's happening behind there. It's my storage area. Doesn't look very good, but nobody sees it. Azalea is hiding it all. And look, even here, it's spilled over there. Of course, it's heavy from rain, but look at all those spills happily happening. It means my azalea is... Let me squeeze behind the cameraman. My husband is filming. Hello, Mr. Carmody. So, azalea is very happy here. It's semi-shade and looks like azalea loves it. It's not sickish with all sorts of mites. I have white azalea near my generous gardener, and it is not doing really well in open sun. And since we cut the tree there, it's going to be even sunnier. So generous gardener would love it, and my azalea probably would need some sort of complementary treatment to keep the mites at bay. Well, the next beautiful color is my tulips. I am so impressed with them. This is the first year I planted them, and they are on their way out. They start their blooming time as white tulips. These are a little bit older, but this one, since they're in the shade, they are behind from the right ones. And look, they start their blooming white, no, not white, yellow, and then they continue and slowly move into the deep orange color. I love it. They performed so well in my gardens, and I think these tulips are here to stay. Very impressive. I'm not sure if they will be coming here every year, since tulips are bred these days to be almost like annuals. We treat them almost like annuals, but I'm going to leave the bulbs, fertilize them well, and hopefully next year we will still have orange, yellow blooms coming up. And look, I planted my strawberries, Honeoye strawberries. They didn't even notice that they are replanted. Last week I went to the nursery, and look at this. Oh, we're going to have beautiful strawberries here. My kids are going to be happy. They're coming from college next week, so a lot of good stuff is happening in Olga Carmody's household, right? Okay, Rhubarb. Look at this beautiful strength. He is saying, I'm so happy with life. What happened to this rhubarb? I took 4 or 5 flower heads off here. You can see it. Is this a flower head? I think so. With a leaf. Sorry, flower head has to go. The reason we don't want the rhubarb to flower, because yes, it's a flowering head. You see, inside there would be flower. It spends so much energy on producing seeds that leaves are not really strong. These stems are not really strong for harvesting, and we want to harvest our rhubarb for nice pies. And what else can we do? And jams, I guess. I'm not sure. This would be the first year when I will try to harvest the stems. And there are strawberries there. I planted 2 more there, so they have a nice presence here. I planted a lot of parsley here, but I don't see seeds are coming up. I see only 1 parsley here. Well, I'm going to probably go into the front in my front raised beds, and there is plenty of parsley growing, so probably I will replant it here in this row. to have parsley here, and the peas are planted there, and they didn't, the first set of peas didn't rise. And peas do love cool weather of spring. Well, I'm a little bit late for our season here, zone 7A. Peas are usually recommended to plant like at the beginning of April. Well, this is the beginning of May. What can you do? Boxwoods are filling up nicely, all the new growths. This year I'm going to fight with boxwood leaf miners because last year I wasn't here and they really did the damage. Look at this. Come here, Mr. Carmody, and look at this. You see, they're all ready to come. Look at this. Those are little guys. And they're going to come maybe in a week. But since boxwoods might be still blooming, no, I don't see any blooming flowers on boxwoods here, so I might start treating my boxwoods with neem oil or horticultural oil just to break that cycle of life of this parasite. We will see what happens, but my boxwoods look pretty healthy, I must say. Lived through last year well in my absence in the garden. Now, my flowers, which I brought from the nursery. The sweet potato vine didn't really like several cold nights we had. Look at this. One night the temperature dropped maybe high 40s and my potato vine drooped its leaves. I got scared, but you know what? Being in the house for several days, it perked back. So I have to really watch it. It's doing fine. I am probably going to keep an eye on it in these containers still. I'm not going to plant them out into the garden yet because we can have several cooler nights still. This is verbena. This is not lantana. Yes, thank you for telling me. I planted several of them out. I will show you. Moss rose is flowering. Right now is morning and we can't see the flowers yet. But this is waiting to be replanted as well. And look at my porch. I planted several of tulips right here and they flowered later. And there are several bulbs which I hope are going to flower. Do they have? I don't know. I have to investigate. Okay, but look, tulips, some of the older ones have already that orangey stone. Love it, love it, love it. That's chard, by the way, growing. We will harvest it. My sedum is increasing its nice shape, right? Look at this shape. I love sedum for this. Look, and the way the drops of rain are kept on the leaves. Look at this, how nicely that drop is. Smaller. Here we go. Lady of Shalott. Lady of Shalott got a different treatment this year. I was thinking that Lady of Shalott is not doing very well here. Its canopy wasn't as big as last year. Well, the previous year. So last year the canopy was not as big. So what I did here, I really went with a shovel and cut all the way deep through the soil, following the bricks to separate the roots of this apple tree from my Lady of Shalott, because I don't want any root competition. And then what I did the soil test here, and I found out that the soil here is 7.3 pH, which is a little bit too high for roses generally. So I started to do a little bit of investigation, and I think I found the culprit. I called the water company and they provide water into our area here, and I told you this already. But what they do, because the system is very old and they don't want water, acidic water is very bad for the pipes, right? So they don't want that water to ruin the pipes, and they intentionally rise up the pH of soil to 7.3. So all the water in my garden which I receive by default from that pipe is 7.3. So what I did for this rose this year, I bought soil acidifier and I very conservatively spread it around for my Lady of Shalott to have access to nutrients, because if pH is too high, rose loses the ability to get nutrients from the soil. Tulips are on its way out, and they were not as long blooming as my yellow tulips. The color is okay in the garden, full of rain still, and they are started blooming later than my yellow tulips, and look, they are on the way out already before the yellow tulips finish their blooms. All the water with pollen inside. Oh, so cute. Every year I forget how beautiful my garden is. You know, every winter I look at bare garden and then I'm thinking, where is that beauty? And here it is. So look at this. This is one of my projects which is actively going on. I did it just before the rain, the pot where I put cement over the usual plastic pots. So see, I will be taking it out. It's set there overnight. All right. I didn't do it very well. You see how cement didn't go here, so the second treatment has to be here. And plus all the cracks, I'm not sure why they happened. Maybe because I didn't have cement all the way through the whole area of this confined space, and sand moved and cracked this cement. Whatever, I will fix it. But this is the second one I'm doing, and it's going to be a pair to a pot which I made already near Generous Gardener Rose. Let's see how that is looking now. I think it's looking quite well. Look at this. I aged it. I think my ducky will look really well here. Ugh, her head is twisted. There you go. Look at this pot. And sedum didn't have any issues coming out of the old pot and going into the new one. Nicely aged. I have a new cement acidifier here. I rubbed it with soil, added a little bit of brown color, and my sedum didn't even notice that it is replanted. So we will have two pots. This is the old one, right? Plus all the splashes from the dirt from the ground. This has to be replanted. So my two pots will complement each other near beautiful Generous Gardener Rose. And look how strong the Generous Gardener is this year. I love it. We took the tree right here. Look at this. This is the stump which I'm hiding there. So there was this apple tree here, and it was semi-shading Generous Gardener, and this area was not really developed very well. And last year I made this support for Generous Gardener, laid all the canes, and looks like my rose loves it. So this year the flowers, oh my gosh, would be breathtaking. I think the whole wall of flowers will be here. And what I like about it, the way it forms the entrance here, everything is nice and kind of, you know, you enter into something new in the garden. I love this aspect here. All right, what's behind you? Behind you on the table, there are one finished and one unfinished project. So one is, I did it yesterday. Near my rose, I have euonymus, and it is growing. It's probably several years old. But what's good about that variegated euonymus, I love the foliage, and it creates a lot of babies. So I leave the seeds on the plants through the winter. So seeds fall, and there is a new generation this year, maybe 20 seedlings. So this year I went ahead. This is a little bit crooked. I have to straighten it up, but I don't have a glove. So I replanted the baby, and I want to raise it as a standard. For now, I'm keeping all the bottom branches. So once it becomes a little bit stronger, the main leader, right, I will trim the bottom, start pinching the branches here, and maybe I will have some sort of a standard growing. Excuse the table, it's all wet. But here's my second project. Okay, it's happening slowly, and the reason why I left it outside, it looks like wicker, because it's made out of plastic. So what I want to do, I want to make wicker baskets to put my plastic pots in, and I want them to be weatherproof and stay in the garden. And I want to have those old, like old looking country basket, farm baskets with 2 handles. I couldn't find anything reasonable online. They're very expensive. I don't understand why. I see that it's very easy to weave these baskets, and I'm going to show you how I do it. This was happening, the project, I started weaving. I bought myself a book. By the way, let me show you which book I bought. 2 books I wanted to talk to you about. I will be right back. Right, so I have 2 books. The first one I bought myself is Willow Basketry and How to Guide by Jonathan Ridgen, right? That's how you say it? Okay, Ridgen. And it was published here locally in New England. So looks like self-publishing book, but very good instructions of how to make wicker baskets. And I didn't know how to make wicker baskets, so I bought myself a book. I will put the link underneath this video. And I started making these baskets. I ran into one problem. This is artificial rattan wire. It's not a wire, it's like a reed. And it is too thick for me to start bending it and weaving and forming a basket. And it is 3 inches wide. 3 millimeters, right. So I went for something much thinner, 2.5 millimeters. And look how good and pileable this is. This is 60 yards. I believe it's from Amazon. I will post a link underneath. So struggling with this, but I will figure it out, just you see. And you know how I was inspired to create these baskets? I will show you another book, excellent book. Nigel Colborn, The Container Gardener. What I like about this book, it's not only pictures and a little description, right? Many books are like that now without thought. But the author really put a lot of thought of how to approach container gardening in your garden, in your space. And there is a picture. Let me quickly find it. Okay, we will cut it. Okay, here it is. Look at this. Isn't this a great picture? So I want to make baskets like this and have my French corner in the garden of herbs growing in those baskets. And what I can do, okay, this color is not really a good color of imitation of that. This is going to be a little bit darker. I have to do more research on the internet. But I want to do baskets like this, all the same size, and put them right here on my porch. Let me show you what the plan is. So this is an excellent book. I love it. I'm in the middle of reading it right now. Here on the porch, we have this artificial planting bench. I don't like how it is. I don't necessarily like how artificial it looks. I was thinking maybe I can put wooden planks here, to make it more of a country looking. I still don't like the idea. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do these fake wicker baskets here. I have a rack, a metal rack, dark color, and I'm going to switch it here. I'm going to put that metal rack here, weave the baskets, and put all my plants here, which would be culinary, including wonderful rosemary. Wouldn't you think that this rosemary will just go in right into the wicker basket right there and will look like a charming countryside corner in my garden? So I can sit on my beautiful chair and enjoy lovely handmade baskets, which are at the same time they are garden proof and hopefully will serve me for many years. And I don't need to do anything special about them. I can just plop these plastic containers into those baskets and be happy with my plants, right? So that's a plan. 2 excellent books. Container Gardening, I'm really impressed. It's an old book, but lovely, lovely read. One more thing I want to show you, and it is, let's go there from this angle. Look at this variegated ajuga. When I bought it from the store, I didn't know how it's going to flower. Look at that one. When you look at that one, you know what it reminds me of? When my kids went to the beach, they would be doing all sorts of castles from the sand. You know how you pile up the sand with water, water runs out, and those nice hills remain. It reminds me the castles from the sand. Nice ajuga, the first time I see the color. I don't know how well it goes with the foliage color. I like the other ajuga in my garden better, the darker one, which is in the front right now. Let me show you that.
I love the way it goes between the stones.
Yeah,
See
it
how
looks
nice
beautiful.
it goes between the stones?
Yeah, it looks very good. That was the plan, to put it between the stones. The improved corner in my garden is the wattle fence or twig fence, which I did recently. I'm going to put all the DIY projects under this video for you to see. I love this project. I love how nicely everything is growing against the fence. And this pot is here temporarily. I'm going to move it and see how long, I'm just curious how long this fence is going to last. But I can patch it up on a regular basis, the empty holes. Eventually, through the years, the twigs are going to sag, and I can just add to them, right? And the fence will be changing its color. The hook. All right. Yeah, it is a good spot. The side flower bed. I moved phloxes here a little bit not successfully, I think. It's a little bit too close together. I should have spread them, but what can you do? And you told me that phlox is beloved by rabbits. So I kind of temporarily covered it, and there are plenty of things for rabbits to eat. So I'm hoping rabbits are not going to find it. But for now, this is how it is. Protected with a fence, which really doesn't look really well, but I want the presence of phlox here. You see that wattle circle? It's protecting my peonies. Well, nobody eats peonies really, but it kind of defines that area here. And I have to do something with this area here, with these lamb's ears. Oh well, what can you do? Roald Dahl roses. I would say miserable performance for several years because there's no sun here, it's semi-shade. We took several branches from our maple trees, so I hope something will change. We did something different, so some different results might happen, right? Let's look at this ajuga here. This one is dark colored, and I like the blooms much better here. Look how they look wonderful. So this area, I didn't think through it yet. I didn't take my heads from the, oh gosh, doing it with you here, right? So this area is not really well developed, well thought through. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but ajuga is performing really well here, and I like its presence. And between ajuga and Wicker, I think ajuga is winning the fight here. You see Wicker here with ajuga? I think ajuga is winning. There is another spot in my garden where ajuga is growing, and it is gorgeous. Let me show you. Oof! Look how all this fell under the weight of the rain. This is a quiet corner in my garden. Ajuga is just starting because it's shady here, but look how lovely it is here. Nice. Oh, Brunnera. Here Brunnera is almost finished blooming, but at the back of my garden, I forgot to show you. I will get the snippet of it. It is in full bloom, Brunnera, but here it's already kind of on its way out. But what I like about Brunnera is that it has variegated leaves, so there is a beautiful presence here all year long. And meanwhile, my Jacob's ladder is preparing its blooms. And it's a beautiful plant. I love it. Presence through the whole 3 seasons. Foliage is great. Will highly recommend it. I will film a special video dedicated just to this plant because it is so great. And look at this, hostas. Suddenly it's leafed out of nowhere, right? Wonderful. And this fell. Why did this fall? I don't know. Something trampled on it? Maybe. Oh, it's wet. Oh gosh, this area is not developed here. This is like a last forgotten area of my garden, together with the arch, which is being taken over by major Wheeler honeysuckle. So this has to be something more sturdy, has to be put here, and it's another big project. I don't want to think about it right now. Let's look at my beautiful Olivia Austin rose. The powerhouse of a rose already forming its buds to bloom at the beginning of June. Like in several weeks, my garden would have the best blooms of the season, and I'm going to do the biggest tour showing you all those magnificent blooms. Hyacinths are finished, almost finished their blooms. So that's it, the performance for this year, but it was very lovely to see them through the spring days when there was nothing happening. All right, ducking, going through. And here is caryopteris leafing out, and this is where I took the baby out. So there are several more babies growing. Wonderful, I love it. And look at all these also growing here. Tons of plants. And my rose creating a basil shoot. Very welcomed, because this rose is struggling with root competition from Japanese holly, and it doesn't have a big presence here, but right now it's looking nice and bushy here. Look at this. Oh, and this. All the rain, right? The heaviness from the rain. Cameraman sneezed. All right, so that's it for the tour of the garden. Everything looks lovely. I love it. Tons of projects going on. Oh, one more. Look at this. I fixed my pot. Remember I was telling you it had cracks? So we had huge rain, and all the cracks are kind of, well, you can still see it, but you can get confused what it is. So it looks okay. So my pot is living, and hopefully it will live through many years in my garden, as are the handmade Asian pots. Let's check the one I just made. Ta-da! Looking good. Nothing happened to it. Wonderful.
Beautiful. It looks really good. It looks like an old pot.
Yes, it does. Old new one. Oh, my hands are dirty.
And it fits perfectly. Look how nicely it frames the plant.
Yeah. Sedum is just the plant for it. It's a little bit behind in its growth. I think because I replanted it a week ago, it is kind of trying to figure out the root system, what's going on. But soon it will start growing too. My dear gardeners, this is it. The garden tour for the weekend. Hopefully you liked it. Look at these berries. Gooseberries. So many of them. Love it. It brings me right back into my childhood. And you know what's good about gooseberries? They're too big for birds to swallow, so they're not attacking my gooseberry bush at all. And by the way, we just spooked out Mama Birdie from out of this house. So let's move out of here, and we will see you in our next video. Happy gardening!